Selamat pagi.
Pagi, Pak.
Selamat pagi, Pak Reza.
Pagi, Pak.
Pagi, Pak.
Pagi, Pak.
Gimana kabarnya kalian semua?
Alhamdulillah sehat, Pak.
Ya, baik, Pak.
Ya, baik, Pak.
I also want to invite Mr. Pavan. Can you hear me?
Hi, Marali. Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Thank you very much for joining us in today's discussion. Yeah, we will start at 9 p.m. Yeah, sharp. So we're still waiting another student to join this Zoom session. Please be wait. Thank you. Okay, everybody. I think it's already 9 p.m. sharp. Yeah, we can start this session. Pak Reza, can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear your voice clearly. So,
Okay, Mas Tian, can you help Pak Reza to become the co-host? Mas Tian in the studio.
Oke, kayaknya nggak apa-apa, Pak. Kita mulai dulu saja. Nanti saya kontak.
Okay,
it is already 9 a.m. here, so I think we will start our Studium General season for this morning in 26 November 2021. Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Reza Ganjil Septiawan, and today I will lead our session I will lead our session in this Studium General with Mr. Sita Pavan as our speaker. So I will read a little bit about Mr. Sita Pavan. So Mr. Sita Pavan is a technical training consultant from JuniperNetworks. I think all of us already knew about JuniperNetworks. JuniperNetworks is one of a global leader in networking. And as we already knew, JuniperNetworks products is There are so many Juniper Network products and solutions which delivers industry-leading insight, automation, security, and AI to drive real business results. So Mr. Sita Pavan is a technical training consultant at Juniper Networks, and he has a responsibility for the trainings delivery on Juniper Networks products, solutions, and certifications. He also works with the SE team for POCs, and he also helps to deliver trainings in APAC and has broad experience on automation, development and operations, or DevOps, WAN or wide area networks, data center, SDN or software delivery networks, multi-cloud, broadband, wired and wireless network security design, and also deployment and operations. And I think Mr. Sita Pavan is already here. Good morning, Mr. Sita Pavan. How are you today?
Hi, I'm doing really good. How are you, Reza?
I'm doing pretty good as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Sita Pavan, to join with our Studium General season today. And I think I want to give this commandos back to Mr. Umar Ali Ahmad. Mr. Umar Ali Ahmad, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reza or Pak Reza. Ya. Good morning, Mr. Sita Pavan. Can I call you Sita or Pavan?
Yeah, anything is fine, Omar.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to give you a gratitude. We are very thankfully because the Juniper network support to Telkom University is very good. Yeah, we already joined the Jncia, Juniper Network Cloud and Automation Academy from starting this year. Yeah, I think we do very well. Yeah, in our cooperation. For your information, we also get fully supported from Archana team and on Kusala team, yeah, regarding the ZNCAA. I also want to give you a very warm speech because on our first batch, yeah, we have around 25 students, and we also get around 50% of them is already get certified with the NCIE. Yeah. I mean the associate level. Yeah. So from our side in academic fight before they are graduating, because this is the one mandatory compulsory requirement for our computer engineering student becoming they go to the industry. Yeah. I also want to apologize because I just got new appointment today. I must visit another city in Indonesia. That's why I am still in the journey today in the car. Yeah, I'm sorry very much, Sita. So,
yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Mr. Reza, kindly, he's my assistant. He is also Dr. Reza. We study together in Japan. So I think he can replace the whole process of this today discussion. Yeah. So for your information also, this is we call it the Studium Generale. Studium Generale is basically the course that followed by the second year, third year, and also the fourth year of my student, yeah, in the computer engineering program. Usually in every weeks we invite several people from industry, from the governments to share the idea, to share the new information. Yeah. Kindly, I also already discussed with Archana regarding our requirement. Basically, we want to open next batch, yeah, the second batch of the ZNCIE, hopefully next month, yeah, on December. I would like to ask you whether you can share to our student, yeah, regarding the opportunity, what kind of opportunity that our student will get if they already certified, yeah. Basically, before I become a lecturer also, I previously working for the Huawei, yeah. So I already joined the telco industry and also the IT industry in Microsoft. So that's why the competency that student will get from the certified, one of the certified is the Juniper Network, is very important for them in order to make sure they will get into the industry. I know Juniper very well. Yeah, I previously already 10 years. I know the SRX 240, the first Juniper that we installed in Telkom University. So that's why we also see that Juniper has very wide user in Indonesia, yeah, from telco industry, electrical industry, and also the government. That's why we want to welcome you, yeah, to join with our Telkom University community in order to share your knowledge, your experience, to make sure our students will get new knowledge, yeah, in order to help them enter the IT or telco industry. I think that's from my speech today. Yeah, we are on behalf of Electrical Engineering Faculty in Telkom University, on behalf of Computer Engineering Department. We are very thankful to our colleague in Juniper Network, yeah, Mr. Sita, Ms. Archana, and Kusala for always supporting us in order for Juniper Network program cooperation with Telkom University. Thanks very much for your support. And I also want to remind our student, yeah, please do the assignment for this week, yeah, and Mr. Reza will guide you through the end of today's discussion. Thank you very much and happy with the seminar. Thank you, Sita.
Thank you,
And I also
Amarali.
want to apologize. Okay, and I also want to apologize if after this I maybe will quit for the session because the quality of network while the journey is not really good. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sita.
I
Thank
get
you
it,
very
and
much,
I really
Fariza.
appreciate you connecting while you're traveling, Umarali. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Umar Ali
Mr.
Ahmad,
Fariza, silakan Fariza.
for
Siap.
your opening. Okay, siap. Thank you very much, Mr. Umar Ali Ahmad, for your opening. And now I think we will start the Studium Generale season with Mr. Sita Pavan from JuniperNetworks. To Mr. Sita Pavan, the time and room is yours. And if it is okay for you, I think I want to ask you to open your video camera as well so our students can see your face as well. Thank you very
Sure,
much, Mr.
sure.
Sita Pavan.
I'll be
Please
doing that. Thanks.
continue.
I hope everyone can see my screen and my audio is clear as well.
Yep, your audio is pretty clear and we can see your slide as well.
Great. So, good morning, everyone. So my name is Sita Pavan, and I am from the technical training department of ours, which we call internally as Juniper University and Education Services. So basically, we handle all training delivery to Juniper customers, partners, in fact, Juniper employees as well, on all Juniper products, solutions, and certifications. So from Juniper side in our call, we have Archana, so who is leading the entire academic alliance, which is what we call as the JNCAA, Juniper Networks Cloud and Automation Academy. So we have her, and we have my boss as well, Kusala. So she too is there to help with any other queries to be taken even in the chat while I am talking, right? So totally we are like 3 people in this call. Now here, though this is on the Automation Academy, I would like kind of like start with a quick mission statement of ours, like what Juniper does, before showing exactly what you would be dealing with in our courses, what are all the technologies. I would first like to highlight what we would be doing here. So this is our mission statement. So our mission statement basically is power connections and power change. Now that is in every aspect of technically or even in person as well, right? So this is our belief that fuels everything that we do every day. Now, particularly this is replicated when we have started working from home, etc., due to COVID. So the kind on how we have empowered our employees who are working from home, as well as how we have empowered various other like ad hoc testing centers, etc., through our like ZTP based all wireless access points and stuff. Now, when we see here, Juniper is a company that is founded in 1996, and it is basically headquartered in USA, Sunnyvale, California. Just a second, everyone. Not getting control. Just let me disable one thing. Okay, fine. Annotate is disabled. Okay, so Archana, I want you to monitor the chat because I'm not on a dual screen here. So because this is a quite early call, I haven't been to office and I'm at home. So I would prefer, Archana, you please handle the chat.
Sure. Hi, everyone. This is Archana from Jncia team and colleague of Pavan. Yes, Pavan, I'm here. I'm monitoring the chat. So please go ahead with the presentation.
Sure. So we are having 9,500 employees. So most of us obviously within the US and here in the Bangalore office. So I'm currently based out of Juniper's Bangalore office here. And we operate out of 120 locations across the globe, and our offices are there in 50 plus countries, and 24/7 support available for all the customers of us. And basically when we say support, it follows the sun. So in the morning, we offer support from India, and in the evening, the support is like taken care by our US team over there. So we offer 24/7 technical support to all our customers. Now, when we say our vision is driven by experience, this is our vision statement that we have updated now. And when you see our customer list, right, top 10 Forbes companies have us, top 20 world largest cloud providers, all 20 of them. Now, 49 out of the 50 service providers across the globe, right? 18 of the 20 prominent universities globally, right? And banks, 18 out of the 20. So when you see this way, right, we are empowering almost like more than 90% of the top companies in each and every vertical. Now, when you see our strategy, guys, so when you see our strategy, basically, so we operate with all public and private cloud companies. So we help the private cloud companies facilitate the network for you. So all the VPCs, VNets, etc., whatever the various public cloud companies would call, we would help them with the networking, and we help customer build their own private clouds as well. Right. So we empower public cloud providers. At the same time, our products help customers build their own private clouds too. And it helps to build and manage distributed clouds, what is being called as a multi-cloud today, and software-defined enterprise. Now, when we see it has the best standards in the most admired companies, US's most like just companies, best places to work, etc. Juniper is kind of in all such best list every year. Now, everyone, so kind of like okay with Juniper. Now, when we want to speak like what's happening in the world, like how the future network would look like. So first one is the cloud. The cloud is kind of eating away the world, right? So already you say 50% of the enterprise applications are in the cloud by 2020. Now, when I say cloud, right, always everyone would assume that cloud means it's in a public cloud provider, right? So it need not be a public cloud provider. That could be in a private cloud as well, right? But it could be hybrid cloud, it could be multi-cloud, anything. 50% of the enterprise applications are on the cloud already. And that is one thing. Now, with this, what is the dynamics that we need to consider, right? When you use the word cloud, immediately it comes up with something else, dynamic. You don't have static resources anymore that you need to plan. For example, let's say in your college, you might be having like, let's say if you are doing like just classroom trainings. Now, maximum number of folks that you can accommodate are obviously the number of seats that you have. Of course, there could be government regulations, but strictly, what is the maximum number of folks that you have? Like you have a plan. Like I know, like I would be getting like 40 people per class, 60 people per class, etc. Now, that is already there. Now, once enrolled, probably at the beginning of the year, now, yes, that number is not going to increase, but yes, we would be having those 50 folks, etc., enlisted in the training. Now, when you say, now, if the same thing has been launched as e-learning, right? Now, anybody can subscribe. Now, if you see today's world, like Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, etc., so anybody can subscribe at any point of time. Right? So whenever we talk about cloud, something that comes up with it is dynamic, on demand, scale, right? So that can increase exponentially. That might double, or that might triple, or that might like take up a logarithmic graph upstairs. That's one. In terms of the cloud. And with cloud, or even without cloud as well, always something called as security. So that might be like cyber security, right? So when you see the cyber crime, right, it's like already a survey that says that by 22, around $8 trillion will be spent across the globe fighting cyber crime, right? So that cyber crime runs in thousands of ways. Now, in these, particularly what an enterprise can do, obviously in person, like not a commercial one, but a consumer wise, yes, I might hack into you, or I might talk into you to reveal your one-time password. That is a different thing. But when we talk about enterprises, right, enterprises typically deal with two types of threats mainly. One is they need to ensure network security, and then they need to ensure information security, right? Like network security is like who can access what? Like I can access this system. Information security is on that system, he has this level of privilege. Like this guy can access only finance related applications. So we need to worry about the network security as well as the information security. So security is a place where all organizations are going to invest a lot, right? And then you see, all these are the requirements that are coming up: cloud, security, etc. Now, when you see the scale at which these services has to be offered is like dynamically increasing, whereas the budget is like almost lying flat, right? When you see like almost the IT budgets are like lying flat. So we need to ensure, I mean, the network design or the future network need to ensure something that can ensure to deliver the services so dynamically, right? At like probably the current prices and stuff. And you see, 5G, this is going to be an important differentiator, because with the launch of 5G, right, already with the launch of 4G itself, we have seen how exponential the traffic is becoming. Now, thanks to these Instagram Reels, TikTok, right, and YouTube videos, Netflix, Squid Games, etc. Now, you would have seen like how dynamically the traffic had increased from 3G to 4G. Now, compared to 4G, the traffic is going to increase by 60 times, right? Because of the speed that it can process, because of the dynamics on how it can be deployed. Now, you might even see organizations, right, having a 5G as their backup uplink. Now, does that mean 4G was not used? Yes, 4G was still used or still being used in small branches, right? Probably a store, probably, I don't want to name, probably like one of the retail store, large retail stores might still be using 4G as well. But with 5G, right, we get enterprise applications as well going, right? Now, it might even bring up talking cars, all that stuff as well. And we would be having in terms of the number of devices connected. 75 billion devices are to be connected. We will be getting connected devices by 25. And then AI has taken its place already. Earlier, artificial intelligence was all into the top level applications and stuff. But now AI has taken its roots into the networking as well, kind of like predicting or identifying the root cause even before a ticket is raised with the even before a ticket is present with your network support team, right? Already AI has identified, hey, this is the root cause. Like I've seen suddenly from your, let's say, from your Sumatra branch, I've suddenly seeing like the number of users connecting, right, dropped by close to 60%. And I've just noticed that most of those are Android devices. Now, I've noticed that the fall mainly is accumulating the Android devices. Now, AI has emerged and kind of like notifying the network team about the trends or predicting the future behavior with machine learning or correlating all the data and trying to identify the root cause with the and equipping the network support team even before the end users raise an IT ticket. So these are the current trends that everyone is keeping in mind, particularly when they are designing the network, right? That's mainly. And there are some news. So Juniper is actually working in all these fronts. For example, just a couple of days, weeks before Gartner. So Gartner, you see, it's a global organization that actually creates the magic quadrants, kind of like positioning vendors based on their ability to execute and their completeness of vision. So this is Gartner's Magic Quadrant, published a couple of weeks before, but yeah, the data that they have collected is as of September 21. Now, this is in the wired and wireless quadrant, right? So they have placed Juniper. So they gave this rating, and based on where they are falling, based on their ability to execute, as well as their completeness of vision, based on both of these, they would organize the vendors into categories as leaders, challengers, visionaries, and niche players. Now you see Juniper is topping here, thanks to our wired and wireless portfolio, where we have AI-driven operations, and through that we would provide wired assurance, wireless assurance, and even when clubbed up with the SD-WAN, right? When it is clubbed up with the SD-WAN, it would even provide the WAN assurance as well as a day one operation. And not just that. So one, it provides AI-driven insights, right? Kind of like tuning the wireless channel based on the interference, right? Or in case if you are on any private channel, once again, tuning it up, identifying the issues, the connect time, correlating all the details, and it would present detailed report to us. And even in the user interface, right? So you don't even actually have to go to a particular place and monitor, right? Because we offer a virtual network assistance called as Marvis. Yes, you get it right. You know, whatever interference you might be taking from the popular superhero movie, yes, it has inspired out of it, but yes, it has missed version of the network assistant. So it is named up as Marvis. So you can ask your question, kind of like telling, hi, please troubleshoot my Sumatra branch building 4, right? Or you can ask a question in a general language, and Marvis will correlate all the data and it would just present you the information straight away. So we have the virtual network assistant. Now, thanks to all this, right, we have Juniper positioned at a leader level, kind of like the topmost here in wired and wireless, right? So it helps in the connected security, it helps in the session smart routing for SD-WAN and the AI-driven operations. This is once again the latest news. And Juniper is kind of like certified in various other forums as well. Now, moving up into the Jncia Automation Academy. So these are some of the APAC level partnerships that we have across Asia Pacific. The most engaging ones are being written here. And yes, we have some in India, we have a few in Australia, right? And we have some in Indonesia. So for example, Telkom University from you is as well in this list. Now you see GMRIT, if you notice, GMRIT is a college that is maintained and managed by GMR. If you see, GMR is a very famous or a top end like multi-vertical firm. One of them is they even maintain India's airport. For example, Delhi airport is owned and managed by GMR, and the Hyderabad airport is managed by them. And they handle a lot other verticals of business as well. Now, their college that is there here in India is signed up with us, and RMIT, I hope RMIT is a very famous name in Australia, even the University of Sydney, Telkom University. So all these are part of Academic Alliance program of ours. And moving on to the learning paths, right? So here you would have noticed that we have various associate levels of ours, right? Leading all the way up to the expert level certification. Now you see, expert level certification is the topmost certification that any networking vendor would provide, right? Be it Juniper or be it our competition, right? In an expert exam, you would be tested in a multi-front portfolio where you would be given access to the actual devices and a full-fledged topology, and you should set up the entire topology and connectivity as per the requirement. Not the way you know or the way you want, but as per the requirement, you need to fix it, troubleshoot it, and at the end of the day, you need to get end-to-end working. So we have the certifications all the way from the associate level till the expert level certifications, right? Now, here, my prime focus, guys, is mainly at the associate level certification, right? Where everyone would start their journey. I still remember when I have attempted my first associate level certification in 2012, because until 2012, I was a software engineer, and then I moved into a Juniper system integrator partner here in India. So then I have attempted my very first associate level certification. To be specific, then there is only one associate level. There were no like multi-dimensional ones. Basically, the same associate level used to test on various fronts then. But now it has been like fully organized. It's been a while already. So we have Jncia Junos, which would mainly talk about the Junos operating system fundamentals, the fundamentals of the operating system, with a basics of the routing protocols like OSPF. But JNCIA Junos mainly talks about the operating system, its architecture, how do we set up a brand new device when you get, for example, like you order a new phone. Now, when that new phone arrives at your site, how do you set it up? The very first one, how do we upgrade it? And how do we configure general static routes, OSPF at the fundamental level? How do we control the flow of routing information from one device to another device, right? How do we provide quality of service, which we call as class of service? How do we provide all this? So we cover that entirety in JNCIA Junos, along with protecting of your device from like unwanted logins and stuff. So all that details, guys, is covered in JNCIA Junos. Then we have this JNCIA security. Now, particularly if you want to start with the security, right? So, every organization you would have firewalls, correct? So even in Juniper, right, we have a firewall model called as the SRX. Yes, you got it right. So you heard from Mr. Umar Ali a moment ago, SRX 240, but it's not just SRX 240. Moreover, we have ended the sale because we need much more device according to the today's footprint. That's a 10-year-old device. So we have the security portfolio, both as firewalls as well as the entire solution forming up as the Juniper connected security, which helps up with the zero-day threat prevention to protect from the very unknown attacks like WannaCry, right? Because these kind of attacks will just be launched, right? So we have the portfolio that helps up to with the application security, wherein like we can specifically allow you access to YouTube, but block YouTube chat, or probably YouTube Kids or YouTube HD, right? Or even allow you to access Reddit, but block you from posting any comments on Reddit. So we have that niche level of control through our firewalls. We can offer intrusion prevention systems, antivirus, web filtering, control what URLs you can access, etc. And so through our security portfolio, and the fundamental of it is Jncia security. Now, when you see in a Jncia security, guys, we start with the overall connected security. Now, the introduction to SRX, and after that we see how do we segregate security zones and how do we allow specific ports only to be opened, and we talk about IPsec VPN, like how do we connect two branches of ours. For example, let's say we have a branch in Jakarta and one branch in Bali. Like how do we enable secure communication between these two branches? And we talk about secure connect, because site-to-site VPN and client-to-site VPN, particularly thanks to, once again, work from home cases, right? Now, how do we connect securely from your laptop to your site, to your college, or to your office, anything? And we talk about the introduction to sandboxing, zero-day attacks, etc. here in Jncia security. And we also cover one of the most important thing that is called as NAT, Network Address Translation. Now, how many of you have heard of NAT, guys? So being from the Telkom University, how many of you have heard like, what is NAT, or Network Address Translation? Okay, so yeah, you might not have heard, but let me simply tell you one. You see, at all your homes, you have a wireless access point, you have a broadband connection, and you have a wireless access point, correct? Or probably forget wireless access point. From your mobile phone, you even do hotspotting, correct? And you connect like 5 devices, 6 devices based on what your hotspot supports. Now, how are all they connecting to the network? Is because your phone or your wireless access point is doing the translation for them. Now, to the service provider, to the broadband connection, your phone or your wireless access point, it tells like, hey, I'm the one talking with you. Why? Because your wireless access point is assigning you a different IP address. Now, when the traffic is arriving from you, your wireless access point is actually doing the translation, your source IP address translation, and to its own IP address that is assigned by your broadband provider, by your broadband service provider, to your wireless access point. Now, this access point is doing all the translations for you and is forwarding into the internet, right? So we talk about the translations from the source side. We will talk about the translations from the destination side, etc. So Jncia security is actually, everyone, a very great place to start, particularly when you want to enter into the networking security front, right? So be it on any front, on any vendor. Now, if you want to enter into the security front, Jncia security is definitely a very great place to start with. And after that, we have Jncia Cloud. So you see, everywhere you must have heard of the cloud craze, right? Everywhere, even for you as well, your team might have asked you like, hey, we have to learn something about the cloud. Yes, and I should be honest here. So certain public cloud providers, they are offering their cloud fundamentals related training for free. Yes, that's one. But when you see that is mainly on their portfolio, right? So yes, and I would even recommend you to do that as well. In case if you want to enter into the cloud front, I would recommend that as well, like touching the public cloud portfolio of that particular vendor. Now, when you see Jncia Cloud, so the first thing that I really like about this training is that it first tells you what is cloud from a basic level. It first tells you what exactly is cloud, and how do we start with it? Now, where does cloud run? Does it run in the sky? Does it run in water? Where does it run? It simply runs in a data center. Then why am I not calling every data center as a cloud? Why am I calling like data center, cloud enabled data center? Now, what is the difference between these two? So we start from that particular scratch, and we talk about XaaS, like you might have heard of the various terms like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, etc. So we talk about XaaS, what are the difference between them, etc. And we will see about some of the challenges in the cloud, mainly private cloud, because when you see Juniper as a vendor, right? So when I meet college students or even someone who is kind of like new to the Juniper portfolio, etc., so they would ask us like, hey, do you offer cloud services? I say, yes, some of our products are cloud enabled, but in case if you are asking like, do we offer a public cloud for you? Like other vendors like Amazon or AWS does. So I would say, no, we are not a public cloud service provider, but we have products which you can buy and utilize and build your own cloud that you might use for a private cloud, like I would use it within my organization, or that I would use to offer, like I would build my own products over that, and I would use it to offer public services. Yeah, that's up to you. But we have products that would help you to build your own cloud. So we talk about those details here in the Jncia Cloud, and we talk about all the details, the various portfolio, some challenges, etc. here in the Jncia Cloud. Then after that, we will talk about Jncia DevOps. Now you see one of the challenges when you see here, right? So thanks to SDN and all the dynamic front, etc., that's happening. Even the DevOps. So you might have heard of these terms, DevOps. Now, in terms of the network, now DevOps inspired principles have come forward, and we call it as NetOps, right? Or based on that, engineering front too has been brought forward, called as NRE. So once again, all that fundamental of it is automation, right? The fundamentals of all that is basically automation. So you see our entire portfolio, be it be in the data center, be it be in the security, or in an enterprise routing and switching, or even in a service provider WAN telco environments, right? You see all our devices are powered based on Junos, etc., correct? So Jncia DevOps is all about automating that. Automating deployment, automating maintenance, automating operations, and automating monitoring. Now, how do you start to automate? Now, yes, you might simply say that, hey, this is the very first time I'm looking at automation, right? Like you say, hey, I'm a network engineer, like I'm very much familiar on the networking footprint. right? You give me a device. Now you give me a CLA access to the device. I will play with it. I'll play with it. Now you ask me anything, like I'll just play with it. But I have not started working on automation because it's new for me. Now, how do I start with it? So that's where we have this Jncia DevOps. Now here we would see what does DevOps mean by. Now, why are we looking at automation? What does DevOps mean by? Now, just because you want DevOps, now why DevOps is kind of like related into, why automation is included as part of the DevOps? Because we will see the three ways of DevOps called as continuous deployment, basically the flow, feedback, continuous learning and experimenting. So where does automation come into picture? Why am I looking at automation? So you would see all that. Then we will talk about APIs, right? So basically the API exposed by our Juno's routers and firewalls is XML. Of course, we also do Yang, but at the fundamental level, we have the XML. So we will use the XML API. We will teach you the basics of Python and the XPaths. A very famous portal to learn is the W3 schools. There in detail, XPath would be there. Even in the Jncia DevOps, we would ask you like, hey, for more detail on this, right? Please go to the W3 schools. So we will talk about all that and how to use. We also have the Python libraries. We provide you the Python libraries too. You just have to utilize those Python libraries to kind of automate the configuration or even monitoring of your network devices. So that's in Jncia DevOps. So once again, like I say, here you learn the funda of DevOps. Why am I looking at DevOps as a network engineer? And then how do you automate in general Junos, right? So once again, the agenda of this is not to make you a software engineer, or the agenda of this is not to enable you to build your own website, right? So the agenda of this particular course, everyone, is mainly to help you automate your network, right? So it is not to enable you to build your own websites, to build your own applications, like Android apps, anything, right? So the agenda is precise to automate your network based on Juno's devices. And after that, we have the design course, basically. Now, when you see in the design, right, the last one, design, you see the first, all the other courses will talk about the configurations. All the initial other courses will talk about all the configs. It would talk all about the troubleshooting commands. What is the command that you might use for config? What is the command that you might use for monitoring the output and all that stuff, where you would become an actual network engineer. Whereas from the design course, in that design footprint, everyone, you guys would be rather taking up on the design role, right? Like, you see, a network engineer would look at the topology, whether to deploy or whether to monitor, troubleshoot, etc. Now, in a design one, you would be the one that could be building the topology. Now, how do I know that, hey, I am buying an SRX 345? So why not SRX 340? Why not SRX 380? I know as a firewall, I've chosen SRX 345. How did you come to that? Right? Similarly, at the switches, you say like, hey, I'm using two-layer architecture instead of access distribution core. You say that, hey, I'm using two-layer only. I've eliminated the distribution. So you have the access and the core layer. How did you come to that? What device model are you using? How are you connecting them? And even what is the routing protocol that you are using? Now, all the standards, how do you talk, all that. So the design one is actually making you into an architect style, where you won't be touching the device at all. You won't be touching the device at all for this one, right? You just need to understand the network as a overall, and it will help you to kind of prepare your own network design using the Juniper products. So this is at the Design Associate, JNCDA. And after that, we have this certification called as JNCIA MIST AI. Now, this is the most recent certification of ours, because obviously the other portfolio is there for a long time. We acquired MIST a couple of years ago. So the JNCIA MIST AI is all about wireless and MIST, wireless access point, MIST, a bit on the Marvis, etc. So this is JNCIA MIST AI. So prior to our acquisition, this was referred as MIST Masters by MIST. Now, after acquisition, we have made it into a Juniper certification. Those with already MIST Masters certification, they have received the JNCIA MIST AI. But for the new ones, when you want to attempt this, you need to attempt JNCIA MIST AI, where we talk all about the wireless fundamentals, and where we would talk about in detail about the wireless basic design and MIST product portfolio, etc. So everyone, these are basically the 6 associate level tracks that we have. And these are also the 6 associate level tracks that are by default available as part of the JNCIA program for your university. Right? So all these are available for your university as well. Now, yes, you might have started with JNCIA Junos because that would help you into other dimension footprint. Now you can take up data center, enterprise routing and switching, or service provider. But I would just like to highlight that you have the trainings in the security footprint, network security, in the cloud, in the automation and DevOps, into the wireless, as well as in the design, right? So we totally have these 6 associate level trainings that are currently available. Now, when you want to just go to it, right, the URL that you need to use is learningportal.juniper.net. The URL is available with you, but anyways, I'll put it in the chat. Archana, can you please type our learning portal URL here in the chat? Now, when you connect there, right, so the most important thing that we can have for here is getting started for free. Now, let me unshare once, everyone. Just let me unshare once so that I can show something more to you. I'm sharing my browser here. So when you click on the getting started for free, right? So here you would be having these courses called as getting started with networking. You might click this and it would open a new tab. So you all are from the telecom university, right? So probably you are already aware, but this is a great place to start with. Trust me, when I started with networking, my then boss asked me, my first week assignment is only this. My is just this 5.5 hour video, right? Even today, if anyone asks me like, hey, I'm starting with networking, what is a great place to start with? I would always recommend this, right? Now, you could be taking up Juniper, or you could be taking up in any vendor, right? But I would always say this is a very great place to start with, because we start with how networks work, routing basics, IP addressing, WAN technologies, and all in detail. This is a really great place to start. Even one of my cousin, he is taking up into the cyber security. He is mainly from the application level, but he is taking up into cyber security. Now, one of the part of the cyber security is obviously the network security, and he doesn't know networking. Now, when he asked me, I just referred to these, and he really loved it, right? He just said that this is a great place to start with. You just go here and you have all the info that you need on network fundamentals. So that's one. And if you are new to cloud, this would be a great place to start. Of course, we have Jncia Cloud, but even prior to Jncia Cloud, right? So you see, these are not certifications. Now, when you complete these, you won't get Jncia Cloud or Jncia Junos, etc. But this would provide you a certificate of completing the training, but this would help you clear any misunderstandings that you might be having with respect to cloud. You might be already aware, or you are like a brand new starter. Anything, guys. Getting started with cloud is once again the best place to start with to understand what is cloud, right? But I would recommend going to this after completing the network fundamentals. But obviously, this could have been already a subject, or probably even like a list of subjects for you, right? In my college, all these are one subject, but for you, it might be a list of subjects. But yes, if you are great with this, then you can directly jump onto this. But if not, I would highly recommend completing the networking fundamentals first prior to this, right? And a very good place to start, this one, right? And the next one is getting started with Wi-Fi. Now, obviously, you see, now Wi-Fi design, I mean, understanding Wi-Fi as well is equally important, because now tomorrow when you get jobs, if you start to work in an enterprise, in any organization, probably in the main headquarters, or probably maintaining their branch as a support engineer, as a design engineer, whatever, right? So definitely wireless is going to be a place there. Now, once again, guys, here, this is not, I just would like to remind the network fundamentals or the cloud fundamentals or even the Wi-Fi. None of these are Juniper specific. These are the concepts as a overall. Understanding the concept, right? I have not gone through the cloud because I'm aware of the cloud even before this is launched. But I would like to mention, I started my career as the network engineer by this one, right? And I would be heavily indebted to this one. This is my guru. If I can, I need to credit something, right? Where is a great place to start? I would definitely say this is my guru. I was a software engineer, but I used to work on a networking product only, but I don't know anything about the network then. I used to work on SNMP coding. That's it. So I don't know like the MAC address and all that stuff. All I know is like you get a GET request for this OID, how do we query for this, etc., and return the response. So I used to work on the software background, but when I have to start with networking, this really helped me. Even today, if I have enough energy to start with, definitely I would learn something new or something better. I would understand something that I already knew better. That I can ensure. And even the Wi-Fi as well. This is not a Juniper product specific. So here I don't say, here you go, this is a missed wireless access point 43. It works like this. Once again, these are created to be a vendor neutral ones and a really great place to start with. All these are e-learning modules and not associated with your certifications. But yeah, you can receive a certificate of completing the training. That is there once you complete the assessment at the end. So these three URLs, guys, are part of this learningportal.juniper.net. Thanks to Archana, she already put the URL here in the chat. Now you just go there and all you need to do is getting started for free. All you need to do is getting started for free. And here you go. You need not worry about these because these are for not academic alliance. I mean, not for JNCIA program people. These are for people like me who want a discount voucher and a free trade, but you get even better. So that's why I have not started with this. and I've directly jumped onto this. I hope it helps all of you. To start with the fundamentals, because I always believe having a great fundamentals is always the best place to start with to learn any technology or anything, right? So that's where I have shown you the best place to start with. To be specific, I don't even want to say Juniper, networking or the technology here, Wi-Fi, cloud, or networking. These three are a really great place to start. Then we have already seen this. These are the certification tracks. So normally our certifications start with Jncia Junos, and then we'll jump on to specialist, professional, and expert. So the Jncia program of ours would primarily deal with the associate level program. Now, just to show you in details about our associate level in your Jncia, right? So you would enroll for the course. So through your college, they'll ask like, hey, I want like Pavan to be part of Jncia security, right? I want Archana to be part of Jncia Junos. So once we get the list, right? Once we get a list of the nominations accordingly, Archana would enable access for you. So Archana would provide access for you to the course for 3 months. And during the 3 months, she would provide you access to the labs as well. Now, when we say the labs, right? So the labs are like whenever you need, we would provide you an icon. All you need to do is like, whenever you need to do the lab, you just need to go there and say like, create an environment for me. So basically, we provide you access to a blueprint. You just go there whenever you want, whenever you need. You just go there and say like, hey, based on this blueprint, create the lab for me. Now, the lab would be spinning up in 20 minutes or 30 minutes max. Archana, what is the time now? Is that like 20 minutes?
Yes, 20 minutes, even lesser than that. I mean, these are the labs that we provide to our professionals, to our customers and partners for the practicing. So when Pavan is mentioning that, the other courses which are for the professionals and they come with the Juniper just gets the free discounted vouchers and the learning module, students, please understand that JNCA courses are end-to-end free only for the telecom universities and the universities that are part of this program. As Pavan mentioned, the courses are for 3 months along with the virtual lab. And along with that, you get a lot of other content to understand how to practice for the actual certification, so that you come out of like a certified engineer once you have completed the learning journey out of it, right? So yeah, the labs takes 20 minutes or even lesser to spin, and the duration of the course plus lab is 90 days or the 3 months. Back to you, Pavan.
Thank you. Yes, highlighting next to what Archana has mentioned, right? I would just like to highlight that when you say taking only the associate level courses, right? Normally for professionals, it's a paid training. It's a paid training with the lab. And so we charge depending on the course, they would be having, of course, regional pricing could be there. But when you see the standard list price, guys, per associate level training, the direct price is $2,400 per one. Now you multiply, right? And every associate level voucher is $200. Now you multiply once again by 6, right? So all this is being provided for you, right? Even in being inside Juniper, of course, my boss will pay for it. It's entirely free for me, but my boss would be paying for it. Now, when you see here, through the Academic Alliance program, all this is like funded to you. The trainings for free, as well as the certification vouchers as well for free, are being funded to you by the JNCAA team, right? So you have the access to the online course for 3 months, the e-learning one, and this would be the same, the e-learning training that would be given to even to a paid customer who wants an e-learning training. This would be the same one that would be provided even to a paying customer, right? So you don't have to think that because it's free, some information is hidden on a trial basis, so that like you would be forced to kind of buying into something. No, right? So it would be the same paid one that the same a paying customer would receive. You are getting it for free through this Jncia program, and you get access to a blueprint through which you can spin up your labs. And whenever you want, like, hey, today I got some free time, or probably my professor has allocated lab time for me, so I need the lab. So you schedule it, and tada, it's like in 20 minutes. I mentioned that 20 minutes because the last time I counted it to be 20. Um, so within 20 minutes or so, you have your devices up and running, and you can start access. Then the thing is, you need to complete the course. And once the course is over, this basically course is to enable you technically. The lab is to enable your hands-on experience. Once you are done, right, then you have a assessment test. Now, if you clear that assessment test, right, you will be given a voucher like this. I just would like to skip this slide once. So here itself, once you complete the voucher assessment test here, right, then you have a voucher there enabled for you. Once you clear that test, then you have this free voucher. Now, all Juniper certifications, leaving expert, all other Juniper certifications are online exams, be it be at the associate level, specialist or professional. They are online exams, and they can be attempted from a Pearson VUE test center by walking into the test center, or you can attempt it from your home because Pearson offers this tool called as OnView. So through that, you can register to attempt this exam from home as well. So while you are registering itself, Pearson would ask, do you want a live one or from home? Now, if you choose from home, there are some guidelines, you just need to follow it. So you can attempt it from home, or even by walking into a nearest Pearson VUE test center. Now, once you book your slot at the payment window, instead of using credit card, there would be an option for to apply a voucher. Hi, Reza Ranian. Can you please unmute? So I don't know from whom the background echo is coming up.
No, it's okay. It is from another participants who are unmuted, but I think now it is okay. I'm sorry for the technical problem.
No, not for me. It's for those who listen. I don't have a problem. So at the payment window, you can just use this, utilize this voucher, and you just say that, hey, I have a voucher, and you just apply the license code that you would be seeing there. Now you just copy paste it and apply. The moment you apply, immediately the payment becomes zero. Now you just submit, and your exam slot is booked. Probably it is in a live center, or probably it is from home. So anything, right? It is fixed for you now. Now going back, so how this works is, so first your university would register, then there would be an orientation call. Now the SPOC or one of your professors who is a specific person of contact from your university for Juniper. So you would enlist, like I would like the course that you would like to take up. So be it be security, be it be cloud, or be it be on the DevOps, right? So you would enlist that, hey, I would like to cover, or I would like to enroll in this respective track. And once you take it up, right? So you get all the access to the training material as well as the virtual labs. And all you need to do is watch all those modules, and they have to be completed. Watch all those modules and do the hands-on session. And once it is over, then you will take up the assessment test. Remember, only after an assessment test, you get the voucher. So assessment test and completing all the allocated training modules for you. So once you close all this and you clear the assessment test, then you would be receiving a voucher. Through that, you can attempt the cert exam. Now, Archana, do we have any specific limit on the number of assessment attempts?
Okay, so for the voucher assessment test, the limit is the first 3 attempts and the score should be more than 70%. If anybody has paid a good, decent attention to the learning modules, this scope of 70% or more score and maximum 3 attempts is very generic and generous, and you would be able to do that. And if somebody is getting the voucher maybe less than 70% of score, then the amount of the voucher discount will be decreased. So instead of getting a 100% discounted voucher, it will be around 80% and so on, reducing to the 70 and all that. But again, 3 attempts, 70% score is an ample opportunity where the students can secure their 100% discount.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So in 3 attempts, it might not be like easier in the first one, but it should be easy in the second one, given the training, because all these courses, the e-learnings that are assigned to you, they are indeed the recommended trainings by Juniper certification team for those certifications. And the Jncia team has ensured that all of them are provided for you in the access field once you sign up, right? And it is very much generous. Given you complete the training, it is very much generous, right? And so you have all these internal led classes for you, and so these certifications, etc., right? These are the certifications that are industry standard one. I mean, these are not some internal certifications that we are providing, let's say, to Telkom University of Indonesia. So these are not some internal certifications of an organization. Instead, these are industry standard certifications, right? For example, in case if you look up at the job openings, right? You would see the job openings asking for like, hey, we need an engineer who is like Jncia certified, right? So because this is an industry standard one, in fact, Juniper customers, Juniper partners, and even Juniper too would ask for like, hey, we need someone certified on Jncia or equivalent. So Jncia is a widely recognized industry certification, right? So this helps you to align with your career goals as well, right? Because a lot of Juniper partners would look out or watch out for those, for the folks having that particular certification, right? So I think I'm done like 5 minutes early than the allotted slot. So thank you everyone for your time. Now I'm leaving the stage for Q&A. So we have your university folks, we have the Academic Alliance folks, and we have Kusala from the Education Services team of Asia Pacific region. So this is now open for Q&A, and we are open for all questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to Mr. Sita Pavan and Mrs. Archana to join us in this session in the Studium Generale for this Friday morning. Thank you very much for your presentation. And now we are going to the next session, the Q&A session. So for all students who have any questions regarding Juniper, regarding JuniperNetworks, regarding certification, or regarding anything about JuniperNetworks and everything that Mr. Sita Pavan already presented, please, you can raise your hand or put your question in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and ask Mr. Sita Pavan directly about your questions. I'm sorry, Mr. Sita Pavan, that maybe I will announce it again in bahasa, in Indonesian language. Oke, untuk semua mahasiswa bagi yang memiliki pertanyaan dipersilahkan untuk bertanya. Oh, okay. Now we have two students who want to ask maybe some questions. Now 3 students. Okay, I will try to unmute one by one. So the first one to Fikri Putra Hidayat. You can ask the question by yourself to Mr. Sita Pavan. Silakan untuk Fikri.
Okay.
Hi, Fikri.
Thank you, Mr. Reza. Hello, sir.
Hi.
So, okay. So, like you said before, the world is changing fast, right? It is. I mean, the 5G, the Wi-Fi 6 is already inside, right? So, I just would like to know, does this lesson, this GNCIA, Juno certification, does this course prepare us for the future technology advance, like the future technology, the 5G, Wi-Fi 6, the IPv6? Because like you said before, it's changing fast.
True.
That's what I want to know.
That's a great question. So one, 5G, though it is on the wireless front, the Mist AI doesn't talk about 5G, right? Because 5G comes in the telco one for us. So that's the other. Now, moving on to the Wi-Fi 6 standard, right? No, the Mist AI is not yet covering the Wi-Fi 6, but because you see, Wi-Fi 6 is an upcoming one. Now, all the full standards of Wi-Fi 6 are not yet updated. So it is still in process, right? Yes, we have recently launched a product for Wi-Fi 6 because yes, it's like very recent product of ours as well. So probably, I don't know when, maybe 6 months down the line or 1 year down the line, the certification and even the training would include Wi-Fi 6. But as of today, no, it is covering till 5.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sita Pavan. So, Fikri, does Mr. Sita Pavan's answer already answered your question, or maybe you want to ask more?
Yes, it is. It is enough. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to Mr. Sita Pavan, and thank you very much for Fikri for the question. And the next question is from Fauzi Sofian. Fauzi, you can unmute yourself and ask directly to Mr. Sita Pavan.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Reza. Hi, Mr. Sita and Miss Arshana. Good morning from Indonesia. My name is Fauzi Sofian. I'm third year's computer engineering student in Telkom University. I want to ask you, maybe my question is not about the technically the industry, but I want to ask you personally, Mr. Sita. You are a training consultant at JuniperNetworks, which is JuniperNetworks is the biggest company and our dream company in the future. I have 3 simple questions. My question is, the first question is how you can work at Juniper, and the second question is what must be prepared for student like us to join and working with the biggest company like Juniper. And the third question is, in this era, which skill is needed in the future in the disruption industry right now? Thank you.
Thank
Pavan,
you
want
very much, Mr. Fauzi. The question are pretty good questions, I think, for all of us, for all students, and also for Mr. Sita Pavan and Miss Archana. Maybe you can please answer the question. Thank you.
Pavan, would you like me to take up the question?
Sure. I'll take up the last one. First 2 are yes.
Okay, so see, we started this whole program, JuniperNetworks Academic Alliance, with the mission where we could bridge the knowledge gap between the academia and in the industry. See, what is happening right now? The networking industry is evolving and changing faster than ever, right? And we need a lot of new talent to come and join the industry, which is kind of really slow. Because at the academic level, we are still only focusing on the theory part, right? So the reason we have got this whole program to the telecom industry is to ensure that students get to learn about the technologies or the concepts where Juniper is working, right? Now, it's also given an opportunity where the students get certified. How the ecosystem will help is, once the certified students pass their degree, we share the information of those students to our Juniper HR, to the customers and the partners. And whenever there's an opportunity available, these hiring ecosystem of within Juniper and the Juniper partner customer community will reach out to your college and ensure that those students are being hired. Now, I'm not giving a guarantee that, today you do it and tomorrow you'll be hired, but I'm trying to bridge a pathway that the channel is available for a smart and passionate students like you and your university to be part of tomorrow's networking global leaders, right? Now, the whole idea, as I said, when we connected with Umar Ali, we ensured him that, the number of students who will be certified right? Their data will be right away shared with our HR partners and everybody. Now, it's again to provide the opportunity of hiring. Now, also what happens is, Juniper may not be able to consume 100% of students, but there are a lot of Juniper distributors, resellers. They are neat. Like, for example, NTT is there, and you have this any network solutions or Telstra. They all are using Juniper products. If not directly with the Juniper, they need this the fresh talent to come and join them as much as possible, right? So continue with the program, ensure that you are learning thoroughly, and ensure that you put your full attention to the certification. Okay, and that will be my guarantee to your pathway for joining the global leaders of today and tomorrow. Back to you, Pawan.
Hi, Mr. Fawzi. I'll take up your last question. So you are asking me like, what would be the disruptors, right? So particularly with automation, SDN, etc., I frequently get this question. Like, you see, like, are basically, do you think software engineers would lead networks of the future, right? Or to be precise, are software engineers replacing network engineers? My answer is no, not fully. My answer is network engineers who understand software, automation, DevOps would replace the network engineers who don't understand, right? That's what I say. So there's a niche difference. So I'm not exactly saying software engineers are replacing. I'm saying network engineers with understanding of software, automation, NetOps, etc., would replace the network engineers who doesn't, right? So still Jncia Junos is required. Now, when I presented it, you might be thinking like, okay, automation is the thing, because you see, there is always this craze, automation, SDN, cloud, etc. Yes, they are equally important, but what is running them under the hood, right? For example, you might have seen the biggest outage for Facebook of 8 hours, right? What caused the outage? BGP, right? Now, when you see, yes, they're using extensive automation, but under the hood, what powers the network, right, is still the network. So one, you need to be good with your network, but you should be adaptive, right? Considering like you should be adaptive with automation. You should be adaptive with the cloud, because trust me, right? The numbers that I've shown you, like 50% of applications are in the cloud. And that numbers would keep rising. Probably they may not become 90% tomorrow, but every year that number is going to increase, right? So you should be good with your network, plus you should be adapting with automation, right? Now, yes, future applications, right? Because today the network is not just the earlier network. Now, today, the network is actually a solution. So you have your network where you have a lot of other products combined, right? For example, you might be having an SDN controller, or you might be having an insights tool, etc. So basically, network is nothing but a solution rather than just some physical devices that you see with all the green, yellow, and red lights blinking in a data center, right? So all these together would become a network. Now, where you want to project yourself? Do you want to project yourself working in a 16-degree temperature room, wearing a jacket? Or do you want to work at a desk, kind of like hitting the keyboard keys? Or do you want to manage like all of these together on an overall? Now, where do you want to position yourself is what you are going to learn. So I would once again answer your question that network plus adaptability to learn automation, cloud, right, etc. And maybe 5 years down the line onwards, you should be learning some niche machine learning as well. I mean, already it is into the network already. So for now, the big companies are have already deployed. Now the medium level companies are looking at it. So probably 5 years down the line, by the time you get a job and you become experienced with like 4 years, 5 years, you would be seeing this becoming a kind of regular product. I don't say only from Juniper, it could be from any vendor. So a slight understanding of what machine learning is, what AI is, etc., as well would be needed in future.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Sita Pavan, for your pretty nice answers. And thank you as well to Miss Archana for your answers as well. So, Mr. Fauzi, does both of them already answered your questions?
Okay, thank you for the answer. Very, very helpful and insightful. Thank you, Miss Archana and Mr. Sita.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions. Yeah, it is a pretty good questions for all of us, for students and for industry as well. Yeah. So actually, I think I can say that Juniper try to fill the gap between the industry and the students. So the students can, let's say, can find job easier and get better understanding about the network. So let's say almost all industry.
I think we lost Mr. Reza.
Yeah, looks like we have lost Mr. Reza. Can anybody please reach out to Reza and see if he's back? Yeah, he's there.
back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my connection is not so stable. Okay, I'm sorry. And now I think we still have another questions from another students. So students be on to you, Miss Archana.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, really sorry for that reaction. I didn't know. I just by mistake pressed that no, and then it was highlighting. It was nothing to show a reaction. Sorry.
It's okay. See it. Hello, Ando?
Yes, hello, yeah.
Yeah.
So I start my video now. So my face. Start. I'm sorry. There we go. Good morning, everyone. It's me I'm Untitled Chapter. So I want to ask a question about cybersecurity that we just talked recently. Oh yeah, first of all, please pardon my English. My English is not that good. So,
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. My first question is, we're talking about attacking the cyber criminal. So to be detailed, are we attacking the cyber criminals to prevent them to doing it again? Or are we just protecting ourselves so we cannot get attacked again? Or question number 2, we're talking about the 6G, the Wi-Fi 6G. I heard that from the internet that the more powerful Wi-Fi you get, the shorter range you can get too. Is there any solution to do that, or it just make a lot of tower and deal with it? That's all. That's all I can ask.
Got it.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions, Mr. Ondotua Simomora, and I think Mr. Sita or Ms. Archana can answer his questions directly. Please, Mr. Sita.
I'll take it up. Thank you, Mr. Reza. So first of all, great questions. Now, taking up the first one, right? So no, we are not a government organization who attack the cyber criminals, right? It's our defense, right? So it's not we, basically, it's you. So let's say you own an organization where the security portfolio is deployed, right? So you do the configuration on it to protect your network, and maybe some of those even to prevent the future ones, right? For example, in IPS, there is a feature called as the future blocks. For example, like one guy has launched an attack for you, kind of like exploiting, let's say, WinNuke, one of or SQL injection, one of the attack, which you are monitoring. Now, the next one, you see, like, I already saw an attack from this particular guy. So I don't want this guy to reach till that level, right? Right away, I would like to ignore him. So I can add him like for the next 60 minutes into the block list, or probably for the next 30 minutes into the block list. So that like I don't even start to process this guy's data in detail, right? So one, we are defending ourselves, right? It's not offensive. Might be you can create a SOC alert, and your organization might be employing a team who attacks folks who attack you. That's a different thing, because Juniper is not seeing your attack and sending an attack. Instead, it's a product that you buy and configure so that like you prevent your attacks and be notified, so that you can further probably refine some more policies, kind of like these attacks can be blocked further in advanced. That's one, probably raising an SOC alert, and you might be having a team of ethical hackers who might attack. That's a different thing. So we can show you the representation of where the attacks have originated for you. For example, there is one country XYZ, like all attacks for you are kind of like launched from a country XYZ, probably a couple of countries where you don't even have any customers, like you don't have any branches, so you don't even expect any traffic from there. Let's say your organization operates out of Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia. Now, these are like only countries where you are expecting traffic from. So you simply say like, okay, I want traffic only from Singapore-based IP address, Malaysia-based IP address, Indonesia-based IP address. Now, you don't want the attacks to be originated from where, from a war-torn country, etc., where like the network is not that greatly monitored. You just refine your policies to kind of block those attacks much earlier. That's answer to your first question. And second question of yours, where the more increase in channel, right? Yes, the more throughput it gives, the lower range it is. Standard thing that we always say, even at your home, your service provider might have told you, hey, I'm not getting Wi-Fi channel in my bedroom. So because your Wi-Fi access point is fixed in your probably in your common living area. And the reason is, yes, exactly the same. Probably you are on 5 gig channel for better throughput. So they'll say like fall back to 2.4. Exactly what I'm doing here. I'm right now connected on 2.4 because I'm in the cornermost room. So it's standard physics. Forget Wi-Fi, it's standard physics, right? So yes, the answer to your question is yes, we would be having more access points rather than towers, because Wi-Fi is not a cellular technology which we use to beam or to offer like public services mainly, right? So mainly what we would use is you design your network. There are wide tools to do the Wi-Fi survey. It's a big science once again. So you need to take up the CAD drawing of the entire layout, and we do the analysis of the walls, what is their width, etc., and accordingly decide what are the optimum points to place these wireless access points, right? For example, for wireless alone, there is a separate wireless alliance. They don't talk Juniper, they don't talk Cisco, they don't talk Aruba, they don't talk anything. They just talk about wireless. So for example, they even have the certifications called as Certified Wireless Networking Associate, Design Professional, right? So what these guys specifically do is they analyze your layout, they analyze how thick your wall is, how many user concentration could there be, what are the maximum folks. For example, it's a meeting room of 30 people size, right? How many people can sit there at maximum? They do this analysis and accordingly decide. They have some open tools, some vendors specifically for this, and they design the optimum placement of the wireless access points. Right? If that's your second question.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Sita Pavan. How, Mr. Ondutwa, it already answered your question?
Yeah, that's answer all my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's great to hear.
And now we still have one more students who already raised his hands. So I think maybe this one will be the last question. So to Mr. Jason, maybe you can ask directly to Mr. Sita Pavan.
Is that any my voice here, sir?
Yeah, we can hear your voice.
We can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Let me introduce myself. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Good morning, ma'am. My name is Jason. I'm from computer engineering. I have some question for Juniper. There is two questions I want to ask to you guys. The first one is, right now I'm using like OneDrive and Google Drive, but I still don't know how is the process from file to be sending into Google Drive. And then if we compare to the general computer, to send your file to the main memory, it needs a register and the kernel. But in the cloud system, we don't need even that. So is that the different, or there any different system for the general computer and the cloud system? For the second question is, this question is for just my excitement. Right now, when I see your previous learning pad slide screen, I saw there is a cloud system. Right now, gaming is so very popular. So my question is there any chance Juniper will make a cloud system for a gaming experience, like, so the user don't need to any more think about the game capacity, or they don't need to think about the how big is their RAM to play that game. So they can freely think to play that game with cloud system. Thank you for, that's all my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jan. And I have to agree, this is the first different question that I have taken. So I have not taken the question that I was asked by Jan till now in my career. So this is a brand new question for me. I have to agree to that. One is, Jan, so in case if you exactly ask how Google Drive, etc., they operate, obviously that's their proprietary. So I don't comment on them. But yes, how the organizations mainly will do is that we don't actually have the storage mounted on the server. Yes, we do have the storage mounted on the server in a data center, but that is mainly to run any virtual machine or the application. But in turn, what we actually have is we would have the storage attached separately. So, and we use the storage specific protocols like fiber channel, ISCSI, etc. We would have the storage specific protocols that we would be having. So that we can ensure how much investment that we need to make on the compute, and how much we need to install on the memory plus storage, because to run any application, any virtual machine, we need these three resources: compute, storage, and memory. Now, by mounting storage locally on the computer, the main problem is, you see, I might be having one server where, let's say I'm mounting 1 TB. I might be having one server where the application is using only 256 GB. On the other, and there is like close to 750 GB free here. But I would be having another server where my application needs like 1.2 TB, but I've installed only 1 TB card there, right? So specifically for them, like I have to choose another server. Why? Because his storage needs, so probably today they're using 500 GB, but tomorrow their needs are exceeding, because the more data that I'm saving, the more storage that I would be taking. So I cannot just migrate his application, that organization's application, to a new server specifically for this. So what we all do is we will maintain a separate storage rack. Once again, Juniper does not have a portfolio on the storage rack, but there are, I just don't want to take the names, but there are very much famous storage vendors in the world. So they take care of the storage. Now, Juniper provides the connectivity, so that with all the necessary protocols like ISCSI, fiber channel, etc., so that the compute servers can speak with the storage servers. I hope that answered your question. And the next one, in terms of gaming, I don't know if there is any plan, because one, we don't have any products on gaming, and two, I haven't even heard of this request. So I don't know exactly if we would be launching any one such thing, but definitely if we have anything like that in mind, we'll make sure that we are notifying you.
All right. Okay. Thank you, sir. It's so very clear, and that's a good information for me. Nandri, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Jan.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jan, and thank you very much, Mr. Sita Pavan, for answering the questions.
There's a
Oh,
great
I'm
question
sorry.
in the chat.
Yes, it's very good question. I'm sorry, my connection is not so stable because I'm on the corner of my room and the Wi-Fi is somewhere else, like you said. Okay, now I think it is already 10:36 and we already passed our time because previously we already booked the time up to only 10:30. I think now we are already in the end of the session, and I think I will wrap it up for all of you guys. So again, thank you very much to Mr. Sita Pavan for his presentation. He already presented to us all about the Juniper learning paths that we are Telkom University is already joined into their APAC program, so we can take up many learning paths from Juniper freely, if I heard it correctly. Because and the product itself, I'm sorry, not the product, the academic path that we can take is exactly the same path with other people who need to pay to take the same academic path. And thanks to Juniper for providing us with all of those resources. And as Mr. Sita said, that now the world is changing so fast because of the 6 things: the cloud, the cybersecurity and cybercrime, the economics of IT world, I can say, and then about the IoT, about the 5G and 6G telecommunication, and about the AI who already
6G is
emerged.
still far away. 6G is
Okay,
very
6G is still far away, but now I think we can see that the networking protocol might go into the 6G because of the request of the internet traffic, right?
True.
Internet traffic is increasing rapidly nowadays, and the last one is about the AI who already take up so many things in our daily life, right? Something like that. And then as we can see that Juniper already provide us with how many learning paths? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 learning paths from routing and switching, data center, routing and switching for both service provider and enterprise, data center, security, cloud, automation, and DevOps, Mist AI, and
Design.
data center, service provider, and security design. And again, thanks to Juniper, we can take any associate level of those learning paths freely and can take the certification as well. And the certification process is not internal standard, but it is something like worldwide standard, industrial standard, and it is accepted worldwide everywhere, something like that. And I think, I hope it already covers every, mainly what Mr. Sita.
Looks like we are losing Reza, but I think we are through with this session. Thank you everyone for joining. Really appreciate Telkom University to participating here. And Pavan, really thankful for you joining this early session and helping students to understand and go through with the latest technology and the wonderful questions they had come up with. Thank you everyone. Have a good day ahead. Please visit the links that I have shared in the chat. It will answer most of your concern about how to get enrolled, what kind of courses to take up. Your Professor Umar Ali Ahmed has already been enrolled pilot batch. He's aware of the process. So you can get in touch with him to get enrolled with the latest courses. Thank you and have a great ahead of the time and your future. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Archana.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Miss
you, everyone.
Archana.
Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Sita Pavan, Archana.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day for
Thank you,
all
sir.
of you
Thank
as
you,
well.
ma'am.
Pak Reza, udah boleh
Iya.
live nih ya Pak?
Udah boleh live, silakan.
Oke, Pak. Selamat pagi. Terima kasih Pak.
Selamat pagi. Terima kasih semuanya sudah hadir di sesi hari ini.
Ya Pak.
Ya Pak, terima kasih kembali Pak. Terima kasih banyak
Pak.
Pak.
Ya.
Good day Pak. Assalamualaikum.
Ya, have a good day. Waalaikumsalam.